Hello and welcome back to the PSD to HTML flat design build. In our last lesson, we made some headway with our main navigation unit. We can see each of our navigation items. They're now in the right position and they're at the right size. We still have some work to do. And the first thing I want to do is I want to change the background color for these items. Now remember, if we look in our Photoshop file, each one of these items has a different background color. And if we look in our index.html file, we can see that we've applied different classes to each of these list items, and we're going to use these classes to apply that background color. So we have BG-orange. Obviously, we'll put an orange background color on that item. BG purple, yellow, green, and blue. So let's go to our CSS file and let's make that happen. So we're actually going to apply these classes to other items besides just the navigation items. So we don't want to put this in the main navigation section. Instead, I'm going to put this up here towards the top. So I'm going to do this right below the main content rule that we created before. We'll skip a couple lines here and let's start with the orange background. So we created a class called BG-orange. So we'll type .bg-orange. And then the only thing I want to do for the BG-orange class is set the background color property to a value of F26C4E. Then I also want to come down here and get rid of the red background color that we temporarily placed on these list items. So we'll get rid of that, save our file, and then just jump into Chrome. And let's move to the Site 11 folder here. And there we go. Now our first item has that orange background color on it. Very good. So now let's do the same for the rest. So we'll jump back into our code and scroll up to the BG-orange rule that we just created. And we'll come to the end, go to the next line and create a new rule for BG-purple, which is the second item. There we're going to create a background color with a value of CF6BAA. Then we'll create another rule for the BG yellow class, and that will have a background color of F2C24D. Then we also have BG green, and we're going to give that a background color of A3D178. And then our last one is going to be this blue button here. And we're going to give that a class of BG-blue, and we're going to give that a background color of 78CCD0. Now, while we're doing this, I might as well go ahead and create another background color rule. If we come down to the middle section of our site, we have this video production section, which has a darker green background color. The background for our web and graphic design section is the same green color as our blog button, but we have a darker green color for our video production section. So we're going to go ahead and create the dark green rule as well. So we'll jump back into our code, and just after our BG green rule, we'll create another rule for .bg-dark-green. And in that rule, we're going to set the background color to a value of 8EBE5F. So let's test our file. Let's save our CSS file, jump over to Chrome, refresh our page, and now all of our menu items have the background color we were looking for. And if we scroll down, we can see our web and graphic design section and video production section now have the appropriate background colors as well. Also, you might have noticed that this link here, which also has a class of BG-orange, now has that background color applied to it. So we're a little bit closer to where we need to be, but we still have a lot of work to do on our unordered list here for our main navigation. First of all, we need to get the text looking right. We need to get it aligned where it needs to be. And I want to make sure that when we do this, that it's not just the text itself that's clickable. You'll notice right now when we hover over the text, we get that finger pointer cursor, but when we move away from the text, even if we're still over the background, our cursor goes back to the default cursor. And I want the entire button to be clickable. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to define the width and height, not just of the list item, but of the anchor tag itself within that list item. And then we'll be able to position the text within that anchor tag. And then once we get our text into place, we also need to create our little dividers that are going to go in between each of the buttons. So we'll get started with that in the next video. For now, let's just make sure that all of our files are saved, and then we'll move on. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.